Welcome everyone to Friday's Inspiration, TGIF. It is already Friday again, and we are here talking about a very important topic that affects all of you. And this is we're going to be talking today about exiting the matrix. How do we exit the matrix? And what is the matrix anyway? So maybe some of you have watched the movie that shows a different kind of matrix, more like a simulated computer generated reality. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something a little different, although it's has some very big similarities. And so the biggest similarity is that the matrix is all about control. And it's about controlling our minds. So in this movie, Neo was given these options of which pill to take. Which pill are you going to take? The one that's going to wake you up, or the one that's going to keep you in this ongoing game of simulation, sort of like, although it's not really simulated. It's all controlled and created by the thoughts we think. So that's maybe something that's not new to you, that we create our reality by everything that we think. And this is why the matrix, if you want to call this part of humanity that is controlling everything, this is why the matrix controls things like the media, the schools, religion. Everything is controlled by this matrix and by what we believe. And so this is why it's super important that if we're going to exit this matrix, get out of this mind control, then we have to start doing some things differently. So I would say that I'm pretty much an expert on mind control. I grew up in a religious cult from birth, and so I was programmed every single day on how to believe in a very specific way. And all of our thoughts were filtered through this religious organization, and they told us, where we were allowed to go, how we could dress, if we could have sex, how we could have sex, and just all kinds of control things. But it's all about controlling the mind. And so this is the really important thing about controlling the mind, is that at some point you're going to realize that, one, you're being controlled. And so this is what happened in this religious group, is eventually I came to a point that, and it resulted because I was just so unhappy. I was actually suicidal. Walked into a sporting goods store to buy a gun, and realized that first of all, I couldn't do this to my children, and second of all, there has to be more to life than this. And that started to put me on a long healing journey. It's been maybe 20 years. And so this journey has helped wake me up to what's like really going on the planet. It's awakened me to gifts that I have of being able to discern things that some people are not as able to discern. Doesn't make me better any more than a dog is better than a human, because they can hear things that we can't hear. It just has to do with gifts that I've spent a lot of time and energy fine-tuning. I spent 12 years, every week for 12 years, going to a psychic school where I learned how to trust what I knew, what I felt, what I saw. And this took a lot of practice. And so over 12 years of practicing to trust what I know, what I see, what I feel, I've become very adept at being able to discern, one, truth from a lie, and also just being able to discern various things, like this temperature report that I do for people. Like how could I discern and know what someone's vibration is all the way across the planet? Well, that's just by tapping into certain gifts that I have, but it's not like I'm particularly special. Everybody has these gifts. Everybody has the things that I am able to tap into. And so this is kind of what this whole life journey on this planet is about, is discovering more of our gifts, more of our innate nature, more of our infinite intelligence. And the more that we can tap into this, this is how we exit this matrix, which is designed to keep us pushed down, angry, afraid. And so when you find that you're kind of stuck in this matrix, like sometimes it feels like we're in a big spider web. You know, every direction you turn, there's something over here. You got masks over here, and you got the presidential election over there, and you got fires over here. The fires are really big. And so there's all these things that are constantly trying to bring us down. And this is all part of the free range slavery program that we're all find ourselves under. But those of you who are showing up here, it's because you're kind of done. You're kind of done with this game, and you know there's more, and you're ready. You're ready to exit. You're ready to get out of this puppeteering game that we've been a part of. And so it's quite possible to be amongst the game, but not be in it. I know that it kind of brings to mind a religious scripture that comes to mind, is that we were taught that we were in the world, but we were not part of the world. I kind of think that applies to this. And so today what I wanted to do is I wanted to walk all of you through a MediClearing that's designed to take these components, these energies that are affecting our ability to think clearly, and releasing some of these programs so that you can start. If you haven't started yet, you can start exiting. It's a process. There's no doubt about that. It's an ongoing process of being mindful of how we think, how we react to what we see going on the planet. But I have to tell you, it's really hard not to react, isn't it? It's really hard not to get depressed or angry about what we see going on if we don't have tools on how to manage this stuff. And so that's what we're doing here. Thank you, Roma. And she says, my story is very powerful, and it is time to step into our power. Yes, and so this is why I wrote this whole book, Access Your Ultimate Power, because we all have this innate power that we've forgotten about. And that's been the whole point of the Matrix, is to keep us in a state of either not knowing, not being aware of our power and our gifts, or just feeling so enmeshed in this web that we feel helpless, we feel powerless, we feel kind of trapped, and we just don't know what to do. So one thing is that we can start to have a different reaction. We can start to have different thoughts in a higher vibration. Now, you're not going to have those higher thoughts. You're not going to have those higher vibrational thoughts of joy and unconditional love and bliss when you're angry and frustrated and afraid. Those are at this much lower vibration. So the point of this MediClearing is that there's a couple things. One is to help you see where this, I call it the 1%. It's not a literal number, but it is part of this matrix. It's part of this energy that's holding us down. So they actually live in our energy field in a very specific place. And there is a way to find them. There is a way to remove them from our energy field. So that's one way of raising our vibration. Another way is by releasing the lower vibrating energies of anger and fear and also the energy of the martyr. Those are the three energies I want to check today. So I'm going to be measuring those, which can, all these energies can be measured. This is how you know where you are. And then if you got to where you're trying to get to, because you remeasure it. And this is the beauty of the system that I created, the infinity system that's outlined in the book that's coming out. So let's see if there's anything else I want to tell you about before we just proceed with a great MediClearing. And apologize for missing Tuesday. The fires were a little out of control. They are out of control. And I've spent this past week hours and hours and hours working on the fires, clearing the rage and the anger out of these fires, and also helping to activate the elemental rain beings. It hasn't rained yet, but actually there was at one point when I was driving through that there was a few sprinkles. So they're trying. Even the rain beings feel powerless and helpless in our planet Earth. So before we get started on clearing you, I just want to do a quick run through with our planet Earth. We'll give to her first. And it's also good to do this so that then when we ground to her, it's going to feel even more safe and secure. So the way that we're going to clear our planet Earth first is we're going to imagine an avatar standing out in front of you, or sitting, doesn't matter. An avatar meaning a person, a hologram of a person. And we're going to run energy through her because this hologram or avatar represents the Earth. So we're just going to imagine a line of energy that is releasing like a grounding cord for her. But this grounding cord is going to go to the center of the galaxy. So try not to get stuck in your head too much about what it looks like. How am I doing it right? Well, just imagine that you know how to do this. Okay. So we're just going to ground the planet Earth to the center of the galaxy. And then we're going to bring this galactic energy up through her legs, down the grounding. We check, see if she has a worry circle. Yes, out to that third layer around her root chakra. So we're going to pull in that worry circle at the root because she feels powerless. Even she's feeling powerless. Okay, great. And so next we're going to start bringing pure source energy down through her creative rings. She has 50 rings. And so we're going to bring pure source down through these creative rings so that what she desires for our planet, which is abundance and, you know, clean water and clean air and happy people on our planet, instead of people taking advantage of her and not respecting her. So we're just going to bring this pure source down through her rings and the crown. 6, 5, 4. It's coming down through the central core. 3. So it stops at the solar plexus because she feels powerless. Let's go out to the third layer. We're going to, front and back, we're going to pull in this energy right at her solar plexus. We're going to send it down that grounding cord. Excellent. Okay, great. And then as we're bringing pure source down through the solar plexus, down into that second chakra, spilling down the root, great. Now we're going to mix these two energies, pure source and this galactic energy coming up through her legs. We're going to bring that 50-50 mixture up her front, so up through the second. So it's stopping right there. And there's a lot of anger and rage right there. So that's also a lot of what the fires are about. The fires are representing all of the anger and rage on the planet. So we're going to pull in this anger and rage at her second chakra. And we're going to send it down the grounding. Excellent. And then we're going to go back to bringing this 50-50 mixture up through the second and the third and the heart and the throat, 6th chakra, crown, through all of her rings, and then down through all the layers of the aura. And let's pay special attention to her third layer of the aura. So this is, we're working with the avatar, but it represents the third layer of the aura of our planet Earth, where there's more powerless energy. Let's also clear the 15th layer. So the 15th layer is where that 1% energy, or this matrix energy, actually lives. So let's start at the bottom, and we're going to lift this energy up and out through this layer. Okay, great. And then we're going to do the same with the 25th layer, starting at the bottom. So the 25th layer is where all the fear entities that the 1% uses to control all of us, this is where they hang out. Okay, great. 30. So we're going to do the same with the 30th layer. This is another aspect of this matrix energy, is the reptilians, reptilian energy. So we're just going to send that up and out of the aura. And then let's check her circle of reciprocity, right arm, left. Okay, circle is good. Okay, so I'll explain that a little bit better when we do you. So now that the earth is much more grounded, the earth is grounded and clear and flowing, now it's going to feel a lot better when we ground to the earth. So let's get started with us as we start exiting the matrix. We start removing all the energies from our energy field that are keeping us in this trapped mindset of free-range slavery. We're prisoners here on this planet, but we don't have to be, because that's like it all happens here in our minds. So let's get grounded. So we're going to establish that line of energy going from the base of our spine all the way to the center of our planet Earth. Excellent. Now, I believe the earth is hollow. You don't have to believe that in order for this to work. Okay, great. And so now we're going to send roots down from our feet, and we're going to send the roots deep into our planet Earth. It's going to go all the way into the center of the earth, all the way to the other side, and then it's going to come out the other side and wrap around the entire planet. Now that's called ultra grounding. So from here, now let's bring that abundant feminine earth energy up through our legs so that we can feel connected to this planet. And we're running that energy up through our legs. Great. And just a thought, when the earth is going to be different in different parts of the world. And so that's why when you travel, it's really important to rerun the earth energy through your legs and get re-grounded when you go to a new place. So if you're traveling a lot, and it doesn't have to be on an airplane, it can be driving too. Always stay grounded. Okay, good. So let's see if we have a worry circle. Yes, so your worry circle, now you may be matching the planet Earth, is out to that third layer. This is the part of you that doesn't feel safe to step out of the matrix and to step into your power. So we're just going to send this energy down the grounding. Okay, great. And then next, we're going to bring pure source energy in through, there's between 3 and 50 rings, golden rings above your head, your creative rings. You don't have to know how many you have for this to work, but let's just imagine pure source coming down through these rings and recalibrating your dreams and your desires. Excellent. And so then as we come to the crown, it's stopping right there. So this is where you're having a hard time giving yourself permission to even exit this game and to step into your own power. So let's go out to the third layer. There's also a circle of energy at your crown. So we're going to pull in this circle, the permission circle. And we're just going to send this energy down through the central core, down the grounding. Great. So as pure source is coming down through the crown and down through the central core, through that sixth chakra. So this is where it's stopping, because this is all based on, we have a very specific intention today. And so because of that, we're finding energies that relate specifically to what we're doing. So we're talking about the matrix and how the matrix controls our mind and what we think and the programs in there. So the main gist of all the programs is being or feeling powerless. So we're going to go out to the third layer, both front and back of our sixth chakra. And we're going to start pulling in the programs that make us feel like we have to continue to be the robot and follow all of the directions and the instructions just the way they say, and so that we can have the little pittance of privileges they give us. So we're going to just pull in all of this energy that makes us feel powerless, right at that sixth chakra, the beliefs. And so just imagine that you know what you're doing, because we're tapping into some powers that you don't even know you have or that you're capable of. And so I'm here helping you release these energies. So because I've got the extra vision of knowing what we're doing here. So you're still bringing in a lot of these programs that you're ready to let go of. And we're just going to drop those down that grounding cord through that central core. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. So as we're bringing this pure source down through that sixth chakra, down through the throat, great, down into the heart, perfect, solar plexus, where it's stopping. So this is where we feel powerless. This is where we feel trapped. This is where we feel controlled. So right at the solar plexus, you remember I said at the 15th layer is where that 1% energy hangs out. So this is how far out you are congested in your solar plexus, out to the 15th layer. So let's pull this matrix energy out of your solar plexus. As we're pulling this 1% energy in, or if you want to call it matrix energy or whatever you want to call it, it's that control energy. There we go. And you might notice some anger stirring, because a lot of you are using anger as your motivator, as your way of trying to get things done. So you're holding a lot of anger here in your solar plexus. But the downside of this is that it doesn't allow you to access your true power. That's what they want, right? So let's pull this energy into the core, and we're just going to drop it down the grounding. Yeah, they need us as their minions and their slaves, so that we can keep doing all the work for them, and they just keep becoming more and more wealthy. I wouldn't say that they're prosperous though, or thriving, because they operate with zero heart. So how happy can you be if your heart is completely closed? They operate with 100% anger. Now, how happy can you be with that? And they also operate with 100% shame. So they are always in hiding. So maybe they have all the money in the world. Who cares, right? That doesn't make you happy. So let's keep pulling this powerless energy in at the solar plexus, sending it down the grounding. Great. So as we're bringing pure source down through the solar plexus, down into that second chakra, where it's stopping again. So this is where you process a lot of emotions and your creative energy and sexual energy. So let's see which one, or maybe several, are being affected in your second chakra. So two things. There's a lot of anger and rage in that second chakra, and that's also affecting your creative energy. So when you're angry, you're not able to create the way you'd like to. You're creating, but maybe you're creating challenges and difficulties. So even sometimes I get challenged with this stuff as well. I noticed yesterday, so I'll just share something with you that happened yesterday. So because I operate at a higher vibration, I have 50 rings. I'm, operating in these higher dimensions, that things happen faster. So if I entertain any lower vibrating energies, things happen quickly. So yesterday, I noticed I'd been feeling a little angry about the fires, about being a little displaced, and it was affecting me. So I got my internet yesterday in this small town, and then decided to. The map took me on a shortcut. Said go this way. It's a shortcut. Instead of an hour and 45 minutes, it'll only be an hour and 15 minutes. I thought, oh great, I'll take the shortcut. But the shortcut was only paved for a very short distance, relatively speaking. And then I was on this windy, narrow dirt road, washboard, crazy road for miles and miles and miles, until finally my car overheated and the water blew, and that was the end of that. So that's what I'll be dealing with later this afternoon, is taking care of my car. But so this is what happens, is when you're in these higher vibrations, things are going to show up fast. Things are going to show up that where your energy is. And so, I always use every kinds of those happenings or experiences to show me like where I need to work a little bit more, or maybe I'm not being as conscientious or mindful. And so that's that's how that happens. So there we go. Sorry, someone was trying to call. So and I even put this on Do Not Disturb. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, here we are, clearing all of these energies. So where were we? We were bringing the anger. That's right, anger. We were coming up the front through that second chakra. So we're right at the second chakra. So let's pull in that anger so that you don't manifest more things to be angry about. And we're just going to pull all that angry energy in and drop it down your grounding. And so instead of using anger as your fuel, then when the solar plexus is really moving and flowing, then you can tap into your real energy, your pure power, instead of anger, which is a big energy. You can get stuff done. I'm not saying you can't get stuff done if you're not angry. I mean, if you're angry. But it's not an effective use of energy or power. It's not sustainable. Okay, so we're bringing this 50-50 mixture up through the second and the solar plexus, up into the heart and the throat and the sixth, out the crown through those rings, and then let it cascade down through all the layers of your aura. Let's pay special attention to the third layer so we can clear out more of that effort that makes it hard to get things done. Just dropping that all down the grounding, because your aura merges with your grounding cord below your feet. And then we're going to also clear the 15th layer. So let's start at the bottom, clearing that energy up, 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 so that this matrix energy is not in our energy field. Okay, great. And then we're going to do the same thing with the 25th layer. That's all the fear entities. Okay. especially up around the 6th and 7th, so the beliefs. We're talking a lot about the beliefs and giving ourselves permission. 25. Then we do the same thing with the 30th layer, which is where more of this matrix energy lives. So in the 30th layer of the aura. So we're just going to pull that energy up and out. Excellent. 30. Okay, great. And then let's clear that circle of reciprocity. So the upper 4 chakras, all those energies and all your rings, that's all going to come out your right arm. This is the circle. So you receive after you've given. So you give first from the heart. So it comes out that right arm, giving masculine energy. And then put your fingertips together like this so the energy can flow through the hands, through all the fingers. So then it's going to come in that left hand, which is blocked. It's blocked right at your wrist. So you can't receive. So this has nothing to do with other people not giving to you. It has to do with you opening your channel of receiving and allowing yourself to become vulnerable and allow yourself to actually receive. You give yourself permission to receive. Okay, good. So as we come up through the shoulder, through the front and back of the heart, throat, 6, crown, through all of your rings. Okay, great. So remember before I was talking about how we can measure. We're going to measure the anger, martyr, and fear energies. We'll start with anger. Now, we already released a lot. I didn't check it beforehand. What matters is where we are now. So anger, still at 50%. So at 50%, you're not going to feel angry, like angry, but you're going to feel annoyed, edgy, irritated, easily frustrated. And you could get pushed into being really angry. But 50%, you wouldn't say, hey, I'm angry. You wouldn't even think of yourself as angry. However, 50% is still enough to attract 50% of angry things to you. And it's at a lower vibration, so you're not going to be able to manifest higher vibrational things like abundance and prosperity and joy and love. So let's clear this energy of anger in the root out to the 3rd layer. So this is probably where we're going to find most of this stuff. It holds a lot in your root, which is why it's hard to feel safe on this planet. Okay, good. So we're just going to drop that anger down the grounding. Good. So we brought it down to 15%. See, this is the beauty of being able to measure these things. So let's find out where that last 15% is. It's right in the 6th chakra. Of course, we were talking about all the beliefs. Let's go out to that 3rd layer. So the energy of anger that you need, so the belief is that you need anger for your power. So anger is not your power. I mean, it is, but it's not a sustainable use of how to make things happen. And so anger, you know, it does have a purpose, and it's when it's used properly to get something done in the moment, then that's an effective use of your anger. But most of you are just using it to get stuff done and to motivate you. So you're missing, by using anger as your power, you're missing your real power. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Okay, good. So let's see where the anger is now. Okay, so now it's at 0. So now let's check the energy of the martyr, which is also at 50%. So a lot of you are using that hardworking, suffering, struggling martyr energy to get stuff done. Let's go to the 6th chakra, more beliefs, which is what the matrix is all about, is keeping you trapped in limiting and lack mindsets. So let's go to clear this martyr energy there out to the third layer. So this is where you're using martyr energy as another fuel source, like that's your power. It's not. That's how things are hard. Everything gets hard that way. And so once you become adept at clearing this martyr energy, keeping it at zero, you're not going to be interested in doing anything the hard way. It's just not going to be interesting. You're just not going to want to. Okay, martyr. Let's see where that is now. So that's at 0. And then we were going to check fear. It's at 30%. Interesting. So at the root chakra, out to that third layer, let's pull in this fear. So fear is designed to keep you powerless, trapped, feeling helpless, stuck in the web. That's why they call it the internet. It's a net, like it's captured all of you. And you may notice, so here's something else I wanted to talk about today too, is that, you know, at some point, I don't know when, but at some point the internet is going to go down. It's, and so this is really a good time. It's like preparation. You prepare for things ahead of time. That's what preparation is all about. Is so knowing that this is going to happen at some point, and maybe not forever, but what if it goes down for a day? Will you freak out? Like, can you, what if you, so what you're going to see is how enmeshed you are in this online thing, that even that's going on here as we're speaking. I know I rely on it for my business. A lot of people do. And so they've created this so that we rely on it. We've become very attached to it. And so what will happen if you're out of internet for a day? What will happen if you're out of the internet for 3 days? I don't know how long it's going to be out, but I do know it's coming. And so preparation is key. So it's important to notice how much time you are spending on the internet, how much time you are spending in this net, this sticky place that keeps sucking you in and sucking the life out of you, making you angry, making you frustrated, making you afraid. So it's good to take internet breaks. It's good to take technology breaks and get out in nature. This is what I did over the last few days. After I had my birthday, I was just really feeling the need to stay in this high energy. And so I had to get into the trees, and thank goodness the summit road was open where I could get to my favorite trail, the Cataract Trail in Fairfax in California. And so this is how I re-energize myself, is getting in the trees, breathing all that sweet, fresh air, listening to the birds and the silence. It's amazing. So do things like that. Get away from all of this. Spend time energizing yourself with nature and run your energy in nature. So there's a great 20-minute practice that's free. I encourage you to download this, and you can listen to it out in nature and get really grounded. So this is, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, is about the matrix, how you can exit the matrix. And by running your energy, staying out of these lower vibrating energies that affect our mind, because it's all about the mind. The matrix is not something that's out, it's not outside of us. It's affecting us internally by how we think. And so we need to really start spending more time going inward. Inward is where all of our answers are. This is where our peace and our joy and where we can self-generate love is all inward. And so you notice how they've got us completely and endlessly distracted by pulling us out of our core, out of our center. so that we are distracted by all the stuff that's going on around us, whether it's the elections or the fires or whatever it is. So notice how you're being distracted. Run your energy, stay in high vibration. If you want, you can listen to this again and just do it over and over. And otherwise, enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. And so use this opportunity to get away from all of that general stuff that you have that's pulling you out of your joy. And we will be back on Tuesday for pop-up Q&A. So if you have questions, you want me to look at something specific for you, then I will do that. And you'll post your questions in the feed, and we'll look at all of your questions. So I thank all of you for joining me this Friday, and all of you that are showing up on Instagram and on Facebook. And we will see you next week. All right. Wish me much luck with my car. All right. Sending much love. Namaste.